January 31st, 2026. Arraignment at 3rd Judicial District Court, 911 Harvey Way, Yerington, Nevada, 89447. Phone number 775-463-6503. Comp, December 16th, 2025. Date, court clerk. Okay, anyway. William Francis Dunn, the 4th, 2031, Lonnie Lane, Dayton, Nevada, 89403. Social Security number 557-730018. Date of birth, November 12th, 1980. Red birthmark. Right wrist, right hand. As per numerology, 666, when added, comes to 9. A tricky number that stands for greediness and natural disasters. But 9, 6 plus 6 equals 18. 1 plus 8 out of the 18 equals 9. Is also the number of Mars, Mongol, which means extra energy, which can either make or break. It is impulsive, restless, stubborn, and inflexible as Jumani. Times of India, India Times. Revelation 13:18. New International Version 18. This calls for wisdom. Let the person who has insight calculate the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man. That number is 666. Revelation 13:18, or is humanity's number. And here's the Rome survey page for the Social Security Administration. And it is the SSA.gov website. On January 6, 2021, the United States Capitol in Washington, D.C. was attacked by a mob of supporters of President Donald John Trump, in an attempted self-coup. 2 months after his defeat in the 2020 presidential election, they sought to keep him in power by preventing a joint session of Congress from counting the Electoral College votes to formalize the victory of then-President-elect Joe Biden. Herve as in Harvey. Herve is another name for Harvey, and that's where the 3rd Judicial District Court is on Harvey. And this is Naomi Irion's father. Herve Irion is a diplomat to Ukraine from South Africa. Naomi Irion was murdered by Troy Driver, who suicided at the Lyon County, Nevada jail in Yerington, Nevada, right next to the court. The Donald John Trump Justice, I don't know the name of that. Justice Complex, excuse me. And that's where the 3rd Judicial District Court's at, where Judge John Schlegelmilch is the 3rd Judicial District Court. Herve Irion, do to others as you would have them do to you. The Huntsman Corporation. Ambassador University, Spring, Texas, United States. Contact info, 176 connections, 178 followers. Herve hasn't posted yet. Recent posts Herve shares will be displayed here. He works for his experience as a Huntsman Corporation, business system and analyst, Huntsman Corporation, U.S. Department of State, information management specialist, U.S. Department of State, January 2016, present 9 years, 11 months, Frankfurt, Rhine, Main metropolitan area, education ambassador, university interest, here we go, U.S. Department of State, Huntsman Corporation, LinkedIn. On March 12, 2022, 18-year-old Naomi Irion disappeared from a Walmart parking lot in Fernley, Nevada, United States. A man was seen approaching Irion's car and driving away in it. She was found dead 2 weeks later in a shallow gravesite in rural Churchill County, having been kidnapped and shot to death. Judge Lorianne Matthias was also presiding over this case for Troy Driver. He was murdered at Lyon County Jail. He was not suicided. They reported it as a suicide. Well, I'm guessing he was strangled to death by a trustee, another inmate, and a sheriff deputy. Overlooked. That's tampering of evidence. And there's people in this neighborhood, I suspect, have been framing garbage cans, putting their garbage in somebody else's trash cans. Been doing it for years. And I think it was done to Joshua Swanick, Joshua Cox. And I think Jeremy Silva's been doing it to neighbors' cans. And I think Court might be doing it. And the people at 2030, Lorianne Matthias and Julianne Bice, who has the TPO violation on me, been involved doing that. Vladimir Alexandrovich Zelensky, born January 25th, 1978, is a Ukrainian politician and former entertainer who has served as the 6th president of Ukraine since 2019. He took office 5 years after the start of the Russo-Ukrainian War with Russia's annexation of Crimea and invasions of the Donbass, and has continued to serve during the full-scale Russian invasion of Ukraine, which has been ongoing since February 2022. The Hamburg cell, German hamburgers Zell, the Zell, Vladimir Zelensky. This is no coincidence here. Zelensky. Zell was, according to U.S. and German intelligence agencies, a group of radical Islamists based in Hamburg, Germany, that includes students from different Arab countries who eventually came to be key operatives in the September 11 attacks. On August 6, Stephen B. Rye filed Class C felony charges on me while I was at the Lyon County Jail in Yerington, Nevada, August 6, 2025. And that's also the anniversary of Hiroshima getting bombed by a United States Army Air Force. Atomic bomb. When prison personnel arrived for routine inmate check, his death was ruled a suicide by asphyxiation. While he was never convicted, officials said the evidence against him was overwhelming. Forensic evidence, including his DNA, was found on Irion's body. Driver also left a note in which he apologized for the darkness within himself. Case number 25 CR276 DA, case number CR251398D. And since then, I have not seen any new charges, new case. But since December 16th, Kel Brock has told me, and he basically implied while I was at Fernley Court on December 16th that I could be arrested because of the emails I sent. And he had me sign a waiver for an arraignment with Judge John Schlegelmilk, Schlegelmilk, January 5th, 2026. And then this past January 2026, this is the second court date I had with him this past week. He accused me of playing musical attorneys. I did not. Samuel Figueroa, and this is weird, Samantha. Samantha is a female version of Samuel, and Samantha is now been in place of Stephen B. Rye. Samuel Figueroa, I did not know this when I talked to Samuel Figueroa. He gave me my money back. The state of Nevada plaintiff versus William Francis Dunn IV filed August 6, 2025. August 6 is when Troy Driver was found dead in his cell. He was murdered. And now here's Stephen B. Rye a year later filing Class C charges on me. Eyewitness of Hiroshima by Father John A. Seamus, professor of modern philosophy at Tokyo's Catholic University, Hiroshima, August 6, 1945, up to August 6. Occasional bombs, which did no great damage, had fallen on Hiroshima. Many cities round about, one after the other, were destroyed, but Hiroshima itself remained protected. Stephen B. Rye is a subversive, operating in Fernley courts as a district attorney, and he's trumping up false charges, planning false evidence, colluding through third parties, talking to neighbors, coordinating on how to pull off the lawyers like to say perfect on the phone, framing. They've been planning. Joshua Swanik and Joshua Cox. They both live next door to each other. 2024 and 2026 Lonnie Lane. Both their names are Joshua. And William Hines used to live next door to me. William and Heidi, and they moved to Traditions here in Dayton, Nevada. And since then, Serena and Alberto Banda have moved into 2029 and live right across the street from Court and Brooke. And Brooke is a female version of Brock. Brock Law, look into the etymologies. Next door to Julia Bice, and Court is a United States Marine Corps. He's a computer hacker. Jeremy Silva has been framing garbage cans. He did it to Swanik. I think I did it to Cox too. And the people at 2030 has been doing this. Had fallen on Hiroshima. Many cities round about, one after the other, were destroyed, but Hiroshima itself remained protected. There were almost daily observation planes over the city, but none of them dropped a bomb. The citizens wondered why they alone had remained undisturbed for so long a time. There were fantastic rumors that the enemy had something special in mind for the city, but one dreamed that the end would come in such a fashion as on the morning of August 6. Case number 25 CR276. The state of Nevada plaintiff versus William Francis Dunn IV. The fourth vow Jesuit, no, I'm not. August 6 a.m., August 6 morning, 9:54 a.m. from District Attorney Stephen B. Rye in brackets 529 Class C felony. The entire purport of this fourth vow, William Francis Dunn the fourth vow of obedience to the Pope and its Lyon County Sheriff Brad Pope, and was and is with regard to missions, and this is how the bulls should be understood, where they speak of this obedience and all that the sovereign pontiff may command, and wherever he may send one, and so on. The Constitution of the Society of Jesus and their complementary norms, a complete English translation of the official Latin text, the Institute of Jesuit Sources, St. Louis Sacco, Louis Prevost, Robert Francis Prevost, Pope Leo XIV's brother's name is Louis Sacco, the Cardinal of Baghdad, and this is the whole point of the Iraq War. Desert Storm was to get Saddam Hussein out of the way for Cardinal Louis Sacco to be elected Pope, and he was at war to a certain extent with Pope John Paul II. Cardinal Louis Sacco is going to be elected Pope, and he's the father of Louis Raphael Sacco, is the father of Raphael Warnock. August 6th marks the anniversary of the atomic bombing of Hiroshima in 1945, a pivotal event in World War II that resulted in immense destruction and loss of life. Historical context: on August 6, 1945, the United States dropped an atomic bomb known as Little Boy on the city of Hiroshima, Japan. The bombing was part of the U.S. strategy to compel Japan to surrender and thus bring an end to World War II. The bomb detonated at 8:15 a.m., resulting in a catastrophic explosion that instantly killed an estimated 70,000, 80,000 people, and with total casualties, including those who died later from radiation sickness, reaching around 140,000 by the end of that year. Wikipedia. They have Job 9. Then Job answered and said, I know verily that it is so, for how should man compared unto God be justified? If he would dispute with him, he could not answer him one thing of 1,000. He is wise in heart and mighty in strength, who hath been fierce against him and hath prospered. He removeth the mountains, and they feel not, when he overthroweth them in his wrath. He removeth the earth out of her place, and the pillars thereof do shake. He commandeth the sun, and it riseth not. He closeth up the stars under a signet. He himself alone spreadeth out the heavens, and walketh upon the height of the sea. He maketh the stars Arcturus, as in Arturo Sosa, Arturo and Arcturus, same etymological root. Orion and Pleiades. Arturo Sosa, the Jesuit Superior General of the Society of Jesus, is going to be retiring between 2026 and 2027. And Jeffrey Burwell, the Superior of Toronto, Canada, Montreal, Quebec, will be elected Jesuit Superior General. Arturo Sosa is pretty much the beast. He's going to be informing governments that do not go the way of the Vatican. Orion, Pleiades, and the climates of the South. He doeth great things and unsearchable, yea, marvelous things without number. Lo, when he goeth by me, I see him not, and when he passeth by, I perceive him not. Behold, when he taketh a prey, who can make him to restore it? Who shall say unto him, what dost thou? God will not withdraw his anger, and the most mighty helpers do stoop under him. How much less shall I answer him, or how shall I find out my words with him? For though I were just, yet could I not answer, but I would make supplication to my judge. If I cry, and he answer me, yet I would not believe that he heard my voice. For he destroyeth me with tempest, and woundeth me without cause. He will not suffer me to take my breath, but filleth me with bitterness. If we speak of strength, behold, he is strong. If we speak of judgment, who shall bring me into plead? If I should justify myself, my own mouth shall condemn me. If I would be perfect, he shall judge me wicked. Though I were perfect, yet I know not my soul, therefore abhor my life. This is one point, therefore I said, he destroyeth the perfect and the wicked. If the scourge should suddenly slay, should God laugh at the punishment of the innocent? The earth is given into the hand of the wicked. He covereth the faces of the judges thereof. If not, where is he, or who is he? My days have been more swift than a post. They have fled and have seen no good thing. They are passed as with the most swift ships, and as the eagle that flieth to the prey. If I say, I will forget my complaint, I will cease from my wrath and comfort me. Then I am afraid of all my sorrows. Sorry, Who says sorry a lot? Sorry is based on this word sorrow, and there's a Church of Sorrows in Baghdad, in Iraq, where Cardinal Louis Sacco is the archbishop, knowing that thou wilt not judge me innocent. If I be wicked, why abhor I thus in vain? If I wash myself with snow water and purge my hands most clean, yet shalt thou plunge me in the pit, and my own clothes shall make me filthy. For he is not a man as I am, and that I should answer him. If we come together to judgment, neither is there any empire that might lay his hands upon us both. Let him take his rod away from me, and let not his fear astonish me. Then will I speak and fear him not. But because I am not so, I hold me still. There's Judge John Paul Schlegelmilch, to seek third term as district judge. Stephen B. Burns Rye, burning the community, burning, yes, with false, trumped up charges, plan framing, you name it. Remoting in computers, altering emails being sent. That's all between Fernley Courts or somebody in this neighborhood, or Stephanie Jammerman and Kel Brock New. 31 Main Street. My address is 2031. Near 2031.